Welcome to another weekly episode of Marked Out Radio. We are the premier podcast focused on the hobby of collecting autographs and photo ops from celebrities. We talk about autograph conventions, on-the-street encounters, and everything else about this crazy hobby. I'm Sean.
And I'm Dana.
And this week, you started off, you met Mets. That sounds, that's the start of a tongue twister. You met famed Mets manager Bobby Valentine. How did that go?
I did. Bobby Valentine was appearing with Coach's Collectibles. He did one of the watch parties that happened in Smithtown, New York at the Bull Smith Tavern. That is around 15 minutes from my house. So honestly, I would have probably met Bobby Valentine's uncle if he was there and being promoted because it's so close. Why the hell not? Bobby is one of those names that I met. I have a friend who has cerebral palsy. That is a wild sentence. That's not heard often on podcasts, just said so matter-of-factly. But as a result of this friend, I was once at a Mets game, and we were able to go down into the clubhouse after a game back in 2000. And this was before I had, I didn't have a camera in my pocket. There was no camera phones. There was nothing. So I met a lot of the team. Interestingly enough, Mike Piazza, despite my friends pleading, did not come out. He asked everyone he saw, can Mike Piazza come and meet me? And Mike Piazza did not come out, but Bobby Valentine did. So I met Bobby Valentine 25 years ago, got an autograph, and I've had opportunity, I just haven't taken them, but I've wanted the photo op on my terms ever since. So it was pretty cool to finally get it. How these events work, it's a free photo op just for attending. But since it took place on 9/11, they were charging $20 for autographs, and all proceeds went to these FDNY charities that they had sort of involved in this event. So I christened my Shea Stadium seat back with the ass sweat and all with Bobby Valentine.
So just out of curiosity, you didn't wash it before?
I did not wash it before because there's a hologram sticker on it to show its authenticity. So I just assume, listen, the ass sweat creates sort of the ambiance of Shea Stadium. If you walk into Shea Stadium, you always had a little whiff of ass sweat. So I feel it brings an extra piece of Shea Stadium home.
I think I was only at Shea Stadium once or twice, and we're talking decades ago, so I don't really have too many memories. So how was it overall? Bobby has a reputation; he's pretty good.
Bobby was great, and it was a rare situation. You've witnessed this. Maybe you're actually the bad luck and not me. But whenever there's a chance for them to break a line, when they'll let a count in your head number of people in, more often than not, they will reach me and say, okay, we're stopping here. That's just how my luck normally goes at these events. I'm never the last one through the door. I'm always that first one that's halted and made to wait for the next group. That's usually how it goes. But on this evening, Bobby's food came out from the back, and I was about 3 back on the line. I thought, oh, crap, he's going to, burger and fries will take him 15 minutes, and I can't get out of here in record time like I tried to. But as luck would have it, they let me be the last one before the dinner break. So that was nice. He hit it good. The chair back looks nice. Honestly, no complaints as usual. These watch parties are always really smooth and just great events.
Did you stay for the game or?
Oh, absolutely not. I met Bobby Valentine. I talked to the owner, Dom, because he saw my seat back was a number 5. And he's like, that kills me that you have one of those. And I'm like, yeah, I bought it from you. He thought I just had it from the wild because he apparently bought up all the red number 5, all the number 5s, period, to have David Wright sign them. Any seat number 5 from Shea Stadium that was available, he claims he bought them all. So he was shocked that I had one. I'm like, I bought it from you because I wanted to start this project. And honestly, if you don't really know the seatback game, going on eBay to me is a little bit intimidating. The same way I tell people about wrestling autographs. Don't just go on, click something that looks nice that you really have no real knowledge about and just buy it. So I didn't want to just buy a seatback cold. So I bought one of his. Hence why I had one of his number 5s. So we had a good laugh about the number 5, and I got the hell out of there and got home.
So really, the business that was trying to gin up some interest in itself by bringing in Bobby Valentine failed in its quest to do so, at least with you.
It failed with me. For everyone else, the tables were pretty much all occupied. There were people outside a little bit. There were people around the bar. The way the Mets have been playing the last couple of months, especially the last couple of weeks, I mean, I don't think there would have been that many people there on a weeknight. So I think it works by and large. I am just the absolute enemy of what they are trying to accomplish. Because, I mean, even if I got a drink, it would be a water with lemon because I don't drink. And I'm not paying money for like an orange juice or like a soda. So I am not the guy to make any of these deals profitable. I just go, take, and leave.
Maybe that's another shirt design.
It might be.
So yeah, I got my Meta glasses in this week. So now I guess both of us can be Meta glass suited when we attend cons, and I guess it'll be another easy way for people to identify us. I actually went with the Oakleys instead of the Ray-Bans. I like them a little bit more, and they supposedly have a little bit longer battery life. So we'll see. I haven't really stress tested them yet, obviously.
Do you want me to make you one of those elastic condoms to block out the flashing light?
No, because I think in a con environment, it's not going to matter. I don't think anyone is paying attention or cares.
I think you're wrong. I think when you are dealing with the big fish, I think those handlers are crazy enough that they will see flashing lights and care. But I mean, I guess ethically speaking, what I'm saying is wrong because I mean, these people are signing items in a giant convention center surrounded by tens of thousands of people. They are entitled to their privacy in such a setting.
What it's funny is when you first set them up and you go into the app, it makes you check like a million boxes saying that you understand that people need to see the flashing light when you're recording. Did you skip all those and not pay attention to them?
Oh, I don't read any of those. I don't read anything like that. I just check yes. I assume there was some fine print in there that elastic condoms were okay.
So anyway, we'll be I guess the first con we're doing with the glasses will be what?
Probably NYCC, which at this point you said you don't really have any autographs.
I don't.
So for me, I don't wear these in for pro ops because I don't wear the glasses for the pro op. So it's like, what am I going to do? I'm going to wear it in, take it off, put out. You're going to have like a video of like the photographer taking a picture. Like it wouldn't really work for me, brother. So I don't wear them in for photo ops. So like a show like NYCC, they're almost useless. I'll just use them for like the crowd, I guess, and whatever else.
Yeah, we'll test them out with the crowd, but that's really not even stress testing in the way that you would need them for autographs.
Yeah.
So then
big events maybe when you're really
I guess Charlie Sheen will test them, right?
True.
Bookends, right?
Yeah.
And
do you wear your glasses like for a photo op like that? Are you going to keep your glasses on?
For pro ops, I take them off because of the flash.
Yeah.
For non pro ops, I leave them on because it's not worth the issue.
For you're probably better with those than me. Like I assume it's not going to be a real true and a true pro op. And I feel like an imposter wearing the glasses for like any op since I don't actually wear glasses. I'm just a mere imposter trying to just record celebrities against their will. So it just seems extra weird.
So in other news, you caused quite a bit of a stir on the Facebook group this week. It's actually pretty funny because you posted one of the stickered Hulk Hogan's. So just a little bit of context. A few months back, I guess, Target started advertising pre-orders for signed Hulk Hogan action figures. And people were kind of confused. Like they thought maybe it was a third party or that there was some kind of scam. No one really understood what it was. And then word got around that Target had done kind of a contract through Mattel, that Mattel produced these unique stickers. And those stickers would be signed by Hulk. And then these kind of basically older figures that I guess hadn't sold, basically, they were going to sticker them with these little, autograph stickers and then sell them at a mild premium. And so the purchase of these was a whole mess because a lot of people pre-ordered them on Target. They officially sold out on Target. And then there were issues where he died. And then there were issues where Target kept delaying the shipment of these things. But then large quantities of them were started to appear on the secondary market. And, we weren't sure if these were, what the hell was going on with these things? Were they stolen? Were the stickers sold out the back door? Were these, samples that had never made it to Target, but they had made it out of Mattel somehow to other distributors? Maybe they got rerouted at the distribution level. It was never quite clear where these had come from, but you take one look at them, they're officially produced stickers from Mattel. Clear as day, you can see that. The autographs, strongly, closely resemble, small, rushed Hulk Hogan autographs, and these started hitting the market. And so, basically, when the two of us were unsure as to whether our pre-orders were ever going to ship, we started buying from the secondary market. I had bought a 3-pack on the secondary market. It came in an official, custom-made Mattel issued protector. It came with that sticker. The autograph looked good, and then to me, it's like, green light that these are all good. But then you posted another one, a single one that came out on the Legends figure, and people started losing their minds.
Yeah, I'm going to sound a little bit rude for a second, but it just makes me laugh. I always enjoy the people. And listen, not everyone is an expert. I said to someone the other day, I myself am not an expert. If I was an expert, I would not have a group and be giving my free opinion. I'd be taking mail-ins like JSA and the other companies and making money from this. I wouldn't be giving this away if I was an expert. I just, I've been looking at enough autographs for enough time that I like to think I'm maybe a little more knowledgeable than some. But it always makes me laugh when you have the person that comes on. It's like, well, I met Hulk Hogan one time in 2022, and I got an autograph, and mine looks different. And it's like, okay, you have one autograph, or two autographs, or 5 autographs, and this one looks different. They don't all look the same. I could show you 15, 20 different Jackson Drakes from one signing that look different, or anyone we've worked with. That's how it is. You can't just say, well, this is different, this is bigger. You have to take into account everything. Rush, take into account just human variation. You have to take into account the size of the surface, which is what's big for this. I personally thought the short Hulkster on the 3-pack would have got more of a, I don't know if this is real reaction than this one.
Well, there were several people, frankly, if I'm being honest, who should know better. They're like, what is this? And I'm like, how do you collect Hulk and not come across these Hulksters? There's a whole era where he was giving out Hulksters in public. Like, this is not, this is what is frustrating, is that, I guess this is the era of the internet. People just want to, I don't know. It's always been like a human behavior that if you walk into a situation and you are unsure or you lack information, you remain quiet, observe your surroundings, and then offer an opinion once you feel comfortable at your level of knowledge. That's how the world for a long time largely worked. And now, if you said, I've never seen a Hulkster before, my response to you is that you haven't looked hard enough, because they're everywhere. It's kind of like the people who, when they encounter an older Undertaker autograph for the first time, immediately think it's fake without realizing that's how he signed in the 90s. And he only changed it up later on to the current style that he uses. It's one of my pet peeves, honestly.
And don't even get me started on the U sort of curly Q that he has. I think you're thinking of there's several old Undertakers that people are clueless about. What I think it comes down to, I think honestly these people are ignorant enough. I was trying to find a nicer way to say it, but there really isn't one. Where every time they've seen a Hulkster, I think they automatically say, well, that doesn't look like my autograph, so that's fake. And no, it's just a different autograph. It's a short autograph. And that is exactly why you should. And there's a lot of people that'll post up on the group. I don't know. I am not, someone posted an Andre this morning. I'm not an Andre guy at all. I'm not. I could take 20 minutes and find exemplars and render an opinion, but I'm not an Andre guy. I would rather let Ray or Terrence or someone like that comment, because I don't know. Someone messaged me privately some Hogans yesterday. I spend 20 minutes a day looking at Hogan since he died, every day. That's not a flex. That is that is an admittance of insanity, if anything. But that's what I do. I go on eBay and I look. I'm going to find something I need. And more often than not, every week I do. So, I mean, there you go. I'm insane, and I'm bad with finances. So,
and here's the thing: when you're not sure, what do?
Well, in a situation where my opinion is needed, I keep my mouth shut. If it's something where I'm trying to buy, I send it to you and other people and get opinions before I make a move.
And so it happens on a regular basis where you send me something and I look at it too. And and we've talked about this, I am much more hypercritical where I'm like, I'll say to you, this is probably good, but I don't feel comfortable enough for you to buy it. And we've had that conversation, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, this is probably good, but I don't spend your money. You can get better ones.
I will say though, I'm not gonna let the cat out of the bag what it is, but there's a sort of a big boy purchase of Hogan. I've been circling. You put it on my radar right when he died.
Well, and my reaction was what to that thing? It's golden. Buy it now. Yeah. Buy it.
And somehow, this is not usually me, but you told me that, and I resisted. And somehow I played my hand into him knocking a couple $100 off the price. And then the other night, I'm like, I think I'm going to pull the trigger. I wanted you to talk me out of it, and you were just like, get it. So I got a big boy purchase coming. I'll save it for next week. When it arrives, I'll drop it in the group. And yeah, this is a cool piece.
It's just frustrating because when people say it is true, there are Hogan secretarials out there, some from Linda, but the thing is, as you know, and as people who know, you can spot a Linda from a mile away. They all look the same.
Yeah, the flow, her flow is
consistent. It's very consistent.
Yeah, and it's also very inconsistent with Hulk. Her flow for her own version of the signature is honestly, it's almost to an auto pen level of consistency. She was really a machine. They all look so very similar. She really did a great job. But it's also clearly not Hulk. The flow, the letter tendencies, none of it is Hulk. It's clear.
And earlier on, there were some other secretarial versions. They don't even look close. I actually saw a couple of them out this week. They're not close. Obviously, there are forgers out there, like Control Center and stuff, who've gotten pretty good with Hulk's letter formation and his slant. They're still not there on his flow. And so, okay, last time I used these on the board, people were like making fun of me. I don't know, because these are the same standards that like JSA uses, Beckett. There are basically 3 ways or 4 ways that you assess the authenticity of an autograph. It's letter formation, slant, flow, and letter spacing. Okay, I don't know if this is like giving too much, but it's not, because if you get a letter from JSA, it says this stuff. So I'm not saying anything crazy. Those 4 factors, right? And so all 4 are really important, but some are more important than others, because even when I look at my own signature, when I have to sign a document or whatever, sometimes my letter formation is different, but my flow is very rarely different. The only time you'll get different flow will be on like an item that is hard to sign, like a surface that's hard to sign, like something that's rough or something that's rounded or something that's smaller or whatever, where it's difficult to move the pen. Or flow can get messed up when you have an unusual kind of pen, like an extra fat pen or an extra skinny pen or whatever. So, but like you look at, I'll give you an example just to go back to the Hulkster on the sticker that was going around. If you see Hulksters, they have a very particular flow to how they look. And this looked exactly like them. Exactly. Were the letters sloppy? Yes, a little bit. But also it was a tiny little sticker. And so it's one of those things, as soon as I saw the flow, I'm like, it's obviously his.
Yeah. And to me, on the single one that I just posted last night, that not only is the flow good, but the letters are like perfect. The pen isn't streaky. Like, I'm like, whoa, this is as close to an exemplar as you will get on these little small stickers. Like, this was, to me, was perfect. And this is where we had all the people really coming out of the woodwork with this doesn't look right. I love the guy today that was like, oh, Hogan only signs big. Like, okay, so Hulk was going to extend the sticker by 6 inches so he could sign big. Like, how do you sign big on a small surface? Make it make sense. But, it is what it is. Even stupid comments are engagement, and it helps our community grow. So, I mean, thank you to everyone.
Yeah, the whole Hulk only signs big, or here are my exemplars. I mean, especially the exemplars posted. Okay, granted, I have to say, I was happy that all of the exemplars posted were real. That's nice.
Yes.
Sometimes there's nothing funnier than when people post forgeries as exemplars. That didn't happen here. All the exemplars were real, but they were all like very obvious sit down, large graph, like fanatics, gotten stuff, or private signing gotten stuff.
Yeah, they were
were
all beautiful pieces, all of them.
Awesome stuff. Awesome.
Yeah.
But like, you cannot compare. Some guy posted a piece where Hulk inscribed the hell out of it. You can't compare those inscription pieces with the little tiny quick shots on the stickers, It's like we had this argument at the time with the trading cards where people were bugging out about the trading cards. It's trading cards and he's signing 1,000 at a time. So they look a certain way, but look at the piece over piece consistency and the flow. I don't know. Like I am hyper critical of Hulks. Privately, I've said so many times. How many times now we can speak to this because it's funny. How many times has a person posted a Hulk they were super proud of in public and being like, "Oh, I love this. I just bought this. I'm so happy to have this in my collection." And I text you and I go, "This is bad." How many times that happened?
A lot.
And do I go out there and post it to rain on their parade and yuck their yum? Of course not, because that's just I'm not going to be a jerk like that. But at the same time, I am hypercritical of Hulks, and I don't see it. I don't see how you don't see these are good. I don't get it.
I think it's just the overall skepticism of the stickers, and I mean that's like the new thing now. All these stickers are fake. If you ask the the right person, they all think that every sticker is fake. But like you said, it's not always about the size; it's the quantity. Quantity is huge. If you look at the 8x10s from like the pro wrestling crates and those different things, I've spoken to talent that get these. They get like 5,000 prints. And they're paid whatever hell they're paid per. It's like a quarter a print. It's a very, very low price, but it's a big chunk of change considering because it's so many prints. And I've seen guys give signatures that are completely different. I've seen short signatures that I've never seen before or since. Because I mean, when are you going to sign 5,000 prints again or 2,000 prints or whatever the number is? So that's the thing. When you have a stack to the ceiling, you are going to do a little different. And you have to, a trained eye, and my eye is not the most trained. Again, if I was the most trained, I would be charging for what I do when I give opinions. I give opinions as a collector and a vendor and all these lovely things for many years, and just having an opinion that I think could perhaps help out fellow collectors and vendors out there. But that's the deal. You should be able to recognize all the stuff that you mentioned, all the tells. And if you can't, that's okay. But have a little grace, I think, in your lack of knowledge, the way I do when it happens often that I don't know too much. And I just sort of listen and lean on the other people that know more.
I couldn't say it better. And speaking of, to speak to that, you were going through your own collection and you did find a fake.
Yeah. I have been, because I'm sure all the people that were interested last week in hearing about my t-shirt sizes, you will be very interested in this. I have been like really just doing some remodeling, cleaning out, reorganizing of my home. And as you would expect of a home that is inhabited by me, basically anywhere you look, if you look in a toilet bowl tank, you're going to probably find something related to the hobby. I have stuff squirreled away everywhere. So I was in my sunroom organizing stuff, and lo and behold, I found a signed 8x10 from, I don't remember what Super Bowl number it was. I only know my Roman numerals when it comes to WrestleMania. I forget all the other events. I don't care what number it is. But Super Bowl, which was the Giants versus the Ravens, I think it was the year 2000. I had an 8x10 that was signed by Ray Lewis. It was supposed to be signed by Ray Lewis and Tiki Barber. And I had my gloves on. I wasn't really doing much looking, but I gave a quick look on eBay for some exemplars, and I didn't love it. And I sent it to, again, this is what you do when you're not quite sure. You sort of lean on people that might have more expertise. And I know Greg 2600, his family owned a sports card store in that era that I bought this. He knew a lot of the companies back then. He also saw a lot of the sports autographs. So I shoot him a message. I'm like, hey, just found this. Don't love it. What do you think? He didn't like it either. And I did deeper research later on. And sure enough, I don't think it's good. and it was from a company called All American Collectibles, and this is an All American Collectibles from 25 years ago. I imagine there's been 7 or 8 different incarnations since then. Perhaps there's some out there right now with that name that are good. I don't know. But this one, they think they were based out of New Jersey, was, so there I am as just as any other collector. I was duped 25 years ago, and I have this lovely fake 8x10 in my sunroom right now. I still haven't thrown it in the fire pit because I'm going to do one more look. Maybe somehow it was rushed, or I'm no expert on any of these guys, but it doesn't look good by my eye.
Yeah, for a lot of, obviously you have your prolific signers like Hulk, who signed 10 million autographs, and there's no shortage of exemplars. But some of these people, it's actually kind of hard to find high quality exemplars, and so it's a challenge,
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought that was pretty funny. So we did get a couple of reports. Nothing crazy here. It was a relatively quiet week. Greg 2600 hit a bunch of stuff. He drops like an atomic bomb of reports, but it was all relatively minor names. So I know he hit RetroCon because he wanted Joey Kramer from Flight of the Navigator. He wanted Picky and the Brain. Those guys, Maurice LaMarche and Rob Paulson. And there was Dirk Benedict, who he said was a pretty significant draw, but also he was taking his sweet time getting through the lines.
Yeah, Greg really went crazy. He did really well, it looked like, at RetroCon. And then he hit TerraCon, which TerraCon had a couple names I wanted, but that's a little bit of a trip. He got Stephen Macht, who I probably butchered that name.
It's Macht.
Macht, okay. Well, I will be mocked for my pronunciation of Macht. He is best known as the father of Gabriel Macht from Suits. He also, after Greg is the king of sort of doing something, coming home, and when I just plop into my recliner and just watch crap on YouTube or something, Greg will then tighten his sneakers and head out again. And that's what he did on this evening. He went to the city and got Wendy Malick from Just Shoot Me, Young Sheldon, and Hot in Cleveland. And Wendy Malick is a cool name, but apparently not cool in temperament and personality, because Greg has failed in the past. But on this occasion, she was nice. And that's a pretty nice get. She's
a name that should show up at more cons. She's one of those instantly recognizable TV faces.
I wish
you've seen her in a million things.
I wish Chiller, but I guess you would need what's his name? Wild Bill Hitchcock with the guns. What's his name? I'm blanking right now. The guy that wanted to kill people for following him to his house.
Spade?
David Spade, yes. You need David Spade, I guess, to do a Just Shoot Me reunion. But that would be a fun little Chiller reunion. Because, you have that guy, I forget what his name was, the Italian dude. He's done Chillers before. Wendy Malick should do Chillers. David Spade should do cons. That would be a fun little reunion. Most of them are still alive. It wasn't a classic sitcom, but I think it definitely had a fan base.
Oh, absolutely.
And then Greg also hit Pat Benatar at Barnes and Noble on Fifth Avenue.
That's one of those things that is an awesome photo op. Pat Benatar is one of those icons of history. She will be remembered long after she's gone. One of those people that it's one of those names that I see it come up and it's like, do I really want to go to the city for this? And I hem and I haw and I stall, and then I see a photo op from the event and I'm like, probably should have gone.
Yeah, I had a similar reaction. I know Fifth Ave is good for those afternoon deals. I don't know if this was that, but they're really good for the afternoon deals. And I'm not a Benatar fan. I'll get a lot of people that my fandom probably doesn't match the money and effort I'll put into getting them by any rational sense of the word. But I'm a little more picky when it comes to time off. If I'm calling out, I want it to be something that means something to me personally. So I felt the same sort of Pokemon FOMO when I saw the photo. But what are you gonna do? It's those trips to the city, whether before or after work or on a rare weekend off, sometimes are just not worth it. Honestly, right now, I really should probably be in the city doing Usher at Macy's. But $400, multiple trips in, I just didn't feel like doing it. So here I am.
Honestly, I'm surprised by that one, especially for you. I'm just I don't know why you didn't do that.
Well, let me give a little backstory. Usher was doing a cologne event at Macy's on Herald Square. And the deal is you have to go in. Well, you only have to go in if it's going to sell out. If it's not going to sell out, you could go the day of the event. But I don't roll like that. That would give me anxiety that I'm going to show up and it's sold out. So you have to like go in person, buy this package, which was $400. And then you have to go home and then come back the day of the signing to take part in the meet and greet. That's 2 trips. I don't know. I'm a fan of Usher. I probably am going to regret it. I'm actually kind of regretting it now as I'm like discussing it, but that's a lot of money. That's a lot of traveling. That's a lot of time on the ground that I just rather not do. This is one of the last weekends of kind of quiet before con season, which tomorrow I'm busy anyway, so it's not even that quiet. So I skipped it. Oh well.
I mean, the thing about those Macy's events is that you can sell the colognes and stuff, whatever, for most of the value of what you pay. So you're really absorbing very little financial liability here. As someone who has done a few of these, so to me, you're going to regret this one long into the future. That's my opinion.
Probably right.
The little rat Zach Linder. He did Creation Star Trek, which was should have been great, but he failed to find. I believe he was looking for John Delancey. There was not even a cancellation notice for Delancey, and I mean look. I told Zach. I said when you go in for Creation, there's always going to be some kind of difficulty. It's just they're not easy shows to deal with. And so, they Delancey apparently had canceled, but they never announced it. It's incredibly frustrating.
With that said, I wouldn't hold. I hope he's able to succeed in getting that refund. But typically, these shows are pretty unforgiving when it comes to anything, like any sort of cancellation. With the whole card is subject to change. I would be right there with him, arguing for one, given the circumstances where there was absolutely no signage, even at the table, saying like, "Hey, this person's not there." That's a little crazy. But I have to check in with him. I'll check in with him in a couple days and see. Like, I hope he gets it, but especially with a con like Creation, I really wouldn't hold my breath.
Still, yeah. I mean, the problem is you can only you can tell people over and over and over again how Creation is. Often people have to experience it for themselves, and that's definitely what happened here. We got a little email. You got it. I didn't get it, so I'll let you talk about it.
Yes, listener Byron shared a nice little message with us. I'm going to read it now. He said, "Hey, Dana, been reading since back in the markedout.com days. Actually did the same fake chiropractor stunt as you to get my pick with Arnold, and he snuck a Terminator poster onto the table in the side room where he was signing items to be auctioned later during the conference. I randomly found out about it from class. He told me about it through a DM on Instagram. No idea why. I don't know him, and I've never even met him. Anyway, love the podcast and look forward to it every week. Congrats on the continued success and growth." Thank you very much, Byron, for those nice words. I appreciate the support all the way back to the .com days when you had to log in and register and all that stuff, and you were still, I mean, unless you were just viewing without an account, which is still just the same level of support that I appreciate. And look at old Loose Lips 316 sending these out. He's just shooting DMs everywhere. Like he's playing Battleship, just like, just dropping bombs. I can't believe it, class. I can't believe it. You are just as bad as some of the people you vilify. Wow, wow.
Do you remember how on the board there was that debate whether or not people should be able to view it without having an account?
Yeah, we had different incarnations. I remember once we made it, it was account only.
Well, there was a reason for that. Because we got invaded, the big invasion angle. You know what's funny? We need to, definitely not on this show, we need to talk about the invasion, not the angle, but the invasion of Marked Out by outsiders, because there's some actual names for the professional wrestling industry who were affected by this. and I don't even know if we have fully hashed out the entire story, but there was a board that was much bigger than Marked Out that was actually shut down permanently as a result of the Marked Out invasion. Did we discuss this ever, you and me, privately?
No, I think Ira is actually the one that got them shut down, wasn't
That's
he?
correct. Yes, it was CZWFans.com was the big board that was shut down. So, and there's a whole saga and a whole backstory to this. But it was one of those moments where we had to make the decision to, monitor the accounts that were being created, because I remember we woke up one day and like dozens and dozens and dozens of new people had showed up on Marked Out with the sole purpose of harassing our users. And what was so interesting is, and I think it's an important distinction, we harass our own people because they're our friends, like we met them all in person. So there's like, harass is the wrong word, but there's some like, light poking fun. You say stuff about Steve because Steve, we've seen Steve hundreds of times. You spent hours and hours and hours with Steve. He's not a stranger. These people were coming on as strangers engaged in just really awful harassment. And so anyway, we got to tell that full story one day, but you reminded me when you said about creating an account, because I remember that whole era where we locked down the board because it was crazy. People were threatening each other's jobs and posting private information. It was a wild couple of weeks, really.
Yeah, that was a wild time. One of the few times actually when you'd see like a bunch of new members and not be happy. Yeah, and then I remember there was another point that we had like certain sections of the group of the forum, I should say, that were members only. That's where we would have the real extreme like fighting and arguing and just craziness. That was our logic, that we would keep the craziness behind closed doors and make it more like user friendly to the normal people that maybe would be scared off by, Big Blue posting his work photos from the deli and everything else that would sort of transpire on a daily basis. But we have to go into that like in full. That was really a wild moment, and
we honestly should bring on and get testimonials from people who were there contemporaneously, because it was it's number one, it's going to be hard for us to remember all of the exact details, and also it was really wild. And I'm sure like even there were details that I missed because you were deleting posts and accounts, and that you missed because I was deleting posts. It was like all hands on deck to save Marked Out from an invasion. It was really deranged thinking about it now.
You know what? I remember what I did. Oh, I don't even know if I did this. I remember I made an account on the CZW group, CZW forum. Sorry, and I would post. We had some of the sections of the board that were dead, like completely dead. So I remember I would go on with my burner account on the CZW group, and I would take like a link to a post of like from 5 years earlier about like, Jurassic Park being re-released on Blu-ray. And I would post that link and be like, oh my God, you don't know what these freaks at Marked Out just did. And I would then just sit in like for like an hour or two later, I would just watch like and keep refreshing. And I would take every IP address that clicked that thread that no one else was going to click, because why would you click such an old thread? You would have to have been clicking that link. And I would just IP ban every single one. And after doing that, I think that kind of that helped a little bit.
That is a level that, as the kids say, that would be considered very extra. But it clearly worked. Yeah, I actually did not know you did that. But
I'm nothing if not petty. And at that point, they annoyed me. So I'm like, I'm gonna. If you want to go through a proxy to view us, I mean, go for it. But I'm going to at least make it hard. I'm going to block every single one of their IPs. So at least they have to really struggle to log on.
We need to do an episode on this. It's been decided. We will. We just got to figure out the whole.
I'll add it to the document. Right now.
Okay. So we had Wicked Ink Wednesday again this week. There were some really cool items, keeping with the theme of a super rare WWE signed Hasbro figure. Jason Joseph had one of Roddy Piper. It was awesome. I believe it was the blue card Roddy Piper, the original one.
It was.
Very, very nice. Beautiful, big, clean
I believe
signature.
that's the only Roddy. But yeah, there isn't another Hasbro. They
You're
never
right.
did
You're right.
one in trunks, which
Yeah.
I don't really know why, but they didn't.
We had Martine posted his Rage Against the Machine Battle of Los Angeles CD booklet signed by Tom Morello. Was awesome. Legendary. And then we as it's becoming the tradition, we're getting more and more like showcase pieces on these threads. And Dustin posted a full Rolling Stones piece signed by everyone, including Charlie Watts, who's now dead. Again, just full band Rolling Stones. These are amazing pieces. So incredible stuff.
And let me just interrupt for a second. People that are posting these like showcase like level things, like don't feel like because you posted it as a Wicked Ink comment that you can't like for a lot of these, a ton of these. I would absolutely be interested if there's like a cool story behind how you got it, or even an uncool story. I mean, I think even the lamest story with something that sick is pretty much going to be cool. Always feel free to drop like a little flashback report. I mean, some of these things existing only as comments on a weekly thread, it's like, I think some of this stuff definitely deserves a little individual attention. So anyone
this stuff can get lost, yeah.
Yeah, so if you have these grail pieces, feel free, days, weeks later, whatever, just drop a flashback report because that's sick. And absolutely, a lot of this stuff, every week we're seeing sicker and sicker things. And the thing that really made me think, like, I have not seen on the secondary market many Piper Hasbros, which is actually kind of funny because I don't think the Piper Hasbro was extremely rare. Like prior,
it was a peg warmer. It was a peg warmer back in the day.
And Piper wasn't extremely rare, so like he signed like I'm sure at the Legends of the Rings and all those old cons. There's a lot of people that got those signed. I guess it goes to show the dedication and the love of Hasbro collectors, that most of those people that got those done 15 years ago aren't parting with them, because like you don't see much of him on the market in terms of a signed Hasbro, and you really should. So that shows the Hasbro market is really an interesting one. It's not so flippy as other things. A lot of the people that get and keep and have, it's for their own collections, and like you really don't see them hit the market again.
Yeah, you're right. You don't. They're very, very uncommon. There was kind of a wild announcement. You were frantically texting me about it in the middle of the day. That Looney Tunes in West Babylon on Long Island, they added an appearance with photo ops for Cardi B. They were offering 1,000 slots. You had to just buy her new CD and you can take a photo with Cardi B. And all 1,000 slots sold out, I believe, in under a day.
I think it might have been maybe under a day. I would have guessed like a day and a half. I think it was a little over a day, actually. But either way, it sold out. I was conflicted on a couple of levels because I'm not normal or sane. My first reaction was crap. When I got her at the Offset appearance a few years ago, I was one of like 5 people that pulled it off. And there's a certain level of deranged enjoyment that some of us get from having something that's rare. And when something, even though I don't know how rare she is, I think a lot of people have her from here and there. But in that setting, it wasn't very common. And now it's like everyone's going to have it. And then my other issue was, do I get an upgrade? Because I just had like a selfie over the table. And like this would have been, I would imagine, a nice posed shot. But it's the day of Charlie Sheen, and it would also have required me taking a day off from work. And you gave me, I think, the advice I needed to hear, which was it's deranged to take a day off from work for an upgrade. And I am not in my car like bumping WAP on the regular basis. Like I think Cardi's hilarious. I think she has some catchy songs, but I mean, I'm not listening to like this female, like whatever type of rap it is. Missy Elliott's different, but like this new female rap, it's like, I don't know. I don't think I'm as a late 30s man, I don't think I'm really the audience for these like, ratchet anthems. So I didn't do it. I feel a little bit of FOMO as I do with Usher. I probably should have, but I didn't, and I'm okay with that for now, sort of.
Yeah, I really was never. It was like 1 in the afternoon on a weekday takes me out of the running. Right,
And they changed it now to 9 a.m., which I don't know. That might be even worse. My thought was 1 in the afternoon. I took off. I could have just gone from there to you to Charlie, and we could have like parlayed the whole thing to like just fall in place. But now I'm going home. It's a whole thing that I think I'm actually glad I didn't do.
Yeah, I was never really going to be a thing that I could do. So
yeah. Then in other news, Charlie Sheen was added to the Patchogue Theater for next month, and he is offering a $161 meet and greet, which is about $131 more than the Bookends meet and greet. But as I said to you, as insane as it sounds, if I hadn't already bought Bookends, and if it wasn't a month later, I think I would have been willing to pay the $131 as a convenience fee to not have to go to Jersey. But with Charlie Sheen, I mean, listen, if Charlie Sheen is alive on Friday for this meet and greet, I'll be happy. I certainly wouldn't make a big wager that, of any of that happening, because Charlie Sheen has lived a life that even pro wrestlers might blush about. So, I mean, at any point that this guy would just not be with us anymore, it would not shock me. So I guess it's a good thing we're getting him now. What do you think? Would you have done Patchogue if you had the option?
Yes, definitely. The time and travel are worth money, and this will cost me with a $90 no, what is it, $30 and $160. So the $130 differential is well worth it for the damage that it would have saved my soul. So
yeah, those after work bookend trips are honestly, every single one of them is like brutal and just sort of depressing. This is one of those names that will bring me great joy. Actually, this isn't a Pokemon get it all. I love Charlie, so I'm excited. I'll be excited. I'll be coming home excited. It'll all be good. But I wish Patchogue was a little closer in the calendar and announced a little sooner, and I would have just done this one. But what can you do?
Nothing. There's a funny thing I sent you. I believe I sent it to you. Where former WWE wrestler Maven Huffman, he started advertising on Facebook that he was setting up a PO box so that people could mail him stuff and that he would sign it for people. And we just both laughed, just recognizing this is probably a thing that will not last that long because of the, how these things go and they get abused and stuff. So if you are interested in getting an autograph from Maven, I would find his social media and take advantage of that now.
Yeah, and let me just fully complete my heel turn as a collector. But this is dumb. Maven, if you're listening, which I doubt you are, this is really a bad decision. How I would advise you do this: take free requests for a month or two, and then sort of parlay this into some sort of a charge option. Just say how you've been overwhelmed by the response, and you are now charging whatever $10 each, even, to make yourself a little income stream. And then hopefully you get some sort of an income stream. I mean, he's not Hulk Hogan, so he's not going to get a Hogan's Beach Shop kind of buzz here. But people are going to take advantage of you. They're going to send you a lot of stuff. Don't do it. Don't do it. Figure out how to make money from this, and just use this as free advertising to get your bigger thing off the ground.
I'm really not sure how much attention Maven is really going to get. I mean, I
think free is the big thing. These through the mail collectors, you are going to see. There's vendors out there, and I use vendors very, very loosely. These morons are just resellers and flippers, and there will be people that will mail this guy, and they'll act like they had a private signing with Maven, and they'll be selling these for $15 each, $20 each. Unsuccessfully, I'm sure. I agree, but there's all those little parasites and barnacles out there. Their mouths are watering right now, and like if I'm Maven, I wouldn't even want to give them this excitement rush. Like, just screw them all, make them pay. If it was fans, actual fans getting their stuff signed, that's different. But it won't be. It'll by and large be people that just want freebies, and that's that.
I don't know. I think he'll get some of the trading card people because those are big through the mail guys, the trading card people, and that'll be the bulk of it. I think it's whatever. I don't think there's any real demand for Maven that's going to matter either way.
Do you think Ken is going to book Maven? Like, he's booked Maven a bunch of times. Maven's always a good booking around here because he's local. I would have to think, and I'll talk to Ken about this next time I see him. I would have to think that this would be a deterrent because a lot of his people that do mail-in, like if you have a trading card, are you going to wait for Ken or are you going to mail it to Maven for free?
I guess, but I mean, who knows how frequently he's doing them or if he's going to do it the right way because you don't have someone over his shoulder or use the right pen. There's always a market for the mega collectors, and the mega collectors are going to do their thing regardless. Then when you have your usual through the mail, I'll send them a card. If he signs it, cool. If it gets lost, who cares? There's those people, and I think those are the people who he's going to be attracting with this little whatever you call it advertisement. So
well, it's good for you, Maven. It's nice, I guess.
So on to con news. New York Comic Con, they announced the cancellation of Nancy Allen and Peter Weller, and they said they'd be around next year. They added Michael Chiklis, and I think you pronounce that name Ian Grufford. He only ever did. He was known for these two from Fantastic Four, the original version.
I've been calling for Michael Chiklis. There's a whole odyssey with Michael Chiklis. I've wanted Michael Chiklis forever. I was a fan as a little kid of the commish, which again, much like what I said about my friend at the Mets game, that was a wild statement to just hear thrown out like that, like just random. And this is another one. As a child, I was a fan of the commish. I don't know what kid liked the commish. I don't even know how many adults like the commish, but I liked the commish. So I watched the commish. Then I watched The Shield, and I mean, Vic Mackey is just the best, worst cop of all time. Like, just dirty, awful guy, but he was awesome, and I love that show. And then, yeah, I've wanted Michael Chiklis forever, and I'm thrilled, beyond thrilled, that he is added. I was going to actually get an autograph, and then I went on eBay, and I see that, like, there's companies that had privates with him, like legit privates with him, that are selling 11x17s for like $95. And it's like, why would I print and wait online and carry it to get what? It makes no sense. I'll just buy one of those.
What's his price?
I don't even know. It's currently in the pre-sale phase. I gotta ask old. I'm not gonna blow a spot, but the guy I know that has the membership, I'm gonna reach out to him and look. But I mean, even if it's just like you said with what's his name with Charlie Sheen, like if I could save $20 and deal with printing, carrying, worrying about something going wrong with the pen, like it's just not worth it. Like I'll just buy it, like done. I'm over it. It's over. I got it. It'll join the pile of my other crap, and I'll be very happy. In addition to the Fantastic Four reunion, John Bernthal was added, and honestly, he was needed because they have now. It's really, I think, a complete Marvel Defenders reunion. And I'm not gonna lie, part of me wants the op because I watched all of those shows, but it's too much money. I'm not.
Wait, who else is on the? What did I miss?
It's Charlie Cox, Kristen Ritter.
Oh, those guys. Okay, the Netflix stuff. Yeah, I understand. All right.
I remember when those were new, I would be like, I would start watching it opening night. Like I was big into those shows. So it's kind of cool, but I mean, that's a $500 group up. It has to be. I don't like it that much.
Yeah, definitely. Was not a fan of any of it, so I don't really care about it. I guess it's cool. I guess my big issue with those properties is they're really, really suffering from relevance issues right now. They don't have the consistent longevity in their fan bases. I mean, I think honestly, we were discussing this earlier about Chiklis. One of the reasons why Chiklis, I think, was never booked for anything really was because Fantastic Four, that movie was a flop. It was a dud. The Shield and the Commish were like popular TV shows that have fallen completely out of pop culture conversation. You don't really hear. It's not like they don't have the pop culture longevity of The Sopranos or The Wire or Sex and the City or something like that.
Or even Sons of Anarchy, which was on the same network. I agree.
There's just, yeah, exactly. There's just some kind of, look, shows fall off. They fall out of a great example, and we've discussed this, is True Blood. When True Blood came out, or Heroes, right? When True Blood and Heroes came out, they were the hottest properties on TV. By the end of their run, they were almost despised by the general public, and so it would be hard getting a fan kind of reunion together. It just wouldn't play very well.
I'll compare The Shield honestly to Oz, because I feel like these are two shows of their eras that, I mean, I wouldn't say they were despised. I don't think The Shield really jumped the shark. I guess I don't really know if Oz did either.
I think The Shield just kind of faded into obscurity.
Yeah, sort of like Oz. If you look at their IMDb scores, which we'll get into later, you take no credence or stock or credibility into IMDb scores. I do. They're both like high 8s. They're strong. They're still liked. Like they trend well in that type of way. But it faded. It completely faded. True Blood, I think, faded differently, because True Blood, that last season with the compound and everything else was bad. I don't think The Shield or Oz ever had that moment. It just isn't, it isn't iconic, unfortunately.
Yeah, so regardless, the point was that he has never kind of entered that mainstream desirability star factor that that a lot of these other properties have with the fandoms and stuff. So it's nice to see him in there. It's weird that he's in for Fantastic Four, which I don't know a single person who's like a fan of that movie. So whatever.
He should have come in last year with Walton Goggins, but I digress. That was the year to do it.
They what else we have? Monster Mania Oaks. They added some Friday the 13th people like Tom Morgan and Glenn Ennis. Again, none of these guys are setting the world on fire, but they're solid. You sent me a show. I've never heard of this show, Scaradise in Florida. They've added a pretty cool name, Richard Schiff from The West Wing. He's been in a million things. He's on a million shows, but I thought that was a pretty cool, fresh name in there. Chill Out Con added Catalin Pota, who is talk about going deep on a Sopranos name. She's the Polish housekeeper from The Sopranos, but look, if you're a Sopranos completionist, I don't think she's done a heck of a lot.
Listen, I feel like she's possibly a Polish housekeeper in real life right now. What the hell else? What has this woman been doing? Where did Tom find her? I don't know, but I'm excited. This is an actual awesome name. I'm gonna I'll definitely get an op. I got to thumb through my Soprano book and see if she has some little blurb in it that I can have her sign. She probably does. Steel City Con in December added Dermot Mulroney, Nick Swardson, Eddie Furlong. So names that are really not going to do anything for us, but are like the equivalent to sort of upper tier con names. Just nothing that's going to do anything for us. It's a cool little lineup for the people in the area that attend the show, which is exactly what I wanted. It's not going to do anything right now to push me to going to Pittsburgh in December. I don't want to do that trip again so soon. And I slept through half of it, and I'm still saying that. So I'm good. I like how you say half. It was not half. It was like 80%, okay? Well, no, I think I was awake the whole ride back. That's not the trip. The trip is the way in. The way back is very different. The way in. The way in was 4 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the morning. That was the one. Who cares if you were awake on the way home? That's irrelevant. Though you would need it on the way in. That's the only thing that matters. Well, the way home is half the trip. No, you go and you come back. Not psychologically speaking. Your input was not needed on the way back. Yeah, that was in the afternoon. It was easy. No one was potentially falling asleep on the way home. It was on the way in that was of concern, and you snoozed the entire time. So 90% of it. That just shows the faith I have in your driving ability. Because I could have never woken up. So and I delivered. So you did. It was very funny though. Half the trip. Okay. What else we got? Rhode Island
Added Juliette Lewis, Dennis Rodman, Randy Quaid. Again, these are names that are pretty common to the con scene. They'll all draw decently well, but certainly, again, they're not adding anything that's really innovative.
Yeah. I'm just wondering where Bev is, because I mean, at this point, they're with Chevy. They're clearly doing a little reunion of Vacation, National Lampoons, and I mean, you'd have to. I assume if you're getting Juliette Lewis and Randy Quaid, you have to have Beverly D'Angelo, unless I missed her announcement, which I don't think I did. You would think she's coming. I love those movies, but I can't. I'm not doing. I already have a nice group op with the two of them. I'm good.
And now I'm looking quickly for Beverly D'Angelo. She is not on that list. So
imagine they do a single father Lampoon's family photo. That'd be weird.
What else we got? Photo with Friday. Another really cool series of some ads. We have you posted your shot with Cameron Diaz. We talked about that. Was it last week or the week before? How everyone when that was announced, everyone was like, "Holy cow!" Cameron Diaz had a reputation for being one of the nastiest people to try and meet on the street. And when you we actually took a group photo together. When you looked at the line outside the bookstore for that appearance, it was a complete freak show. It was all street graphers and there was no one who was actually interested in her book. No one. It was all graphers.
Oh yeah, I sold that book in short order after I got back. That was right on eBay.
Yeah, and so it was a fun photo to see, to remember that event.
And then 16 times went back into his archive of historical figures. I mean, I assume he's going to drop Abraham Lincoln next week, and that's not a shot at his age. That's just a shot at if anyone's able to have these people, it's 16 times. So he would have found some way to time travel. But this week he sort of touched down, if you will, with Buzz Aldrin. And it sort of begs a very important marked out question, because it was like a handshake, candid type of photo. So, Sean, what's the old marked out debate on a photo like that?
So the question is the photo? It's a little bit hard to explain. Is the photo op valid? Okay, so validity as defined. I believe Steve tried to come up with this whole taxonomy of photo op terminology and autograph terminology. But as defined by Steve, validity was that someone was taking a photo op knowingly and willingly, and they were looking at the camera and not something else, right? And there were some disagreements about that, because there are, for example, people who have photo ops of them shaking someone's hand where they're looking at the person, and that's being documented. Does that count as a photo op? And so, granted, obviously, the next question would be count for what? But I mean, this is the world we inhabit. Counts for nothing.
Counts for your entry into heaven when they're sort of going through your photo ops, deciding if you've lived a life worth eternal paradise.
When the combo gods are assessing the value of your existence, right?
Yes. When you head towards St. Peter's Gates, you got to make a left, and then there's a little line off to the side. No. Combo gods.
The combo gods are not like Western. They have to be like pagan or something like that. There's no St. Peter according to the combo gods.
So there's no St. Classy or something like. No. All right. Yeah, I can live with that. They are pagan gods. Okay.
Anyway, I don't know where the hell that came from. But yeah, because 16 times was shaking Buzz Aldrin's hand. They were looking at each other, not at the camera. Sound off. Is this a valid photo op? And really, I'm only asking just to antagonize certain people. Not even 16 times himself.
I'll count
it. I count it as well, but I know there are people who don't, and I find that very funny. Okay, what else do we have? Sean and Finn, along with Mr. Poppin' Twist, they posted their photo ops with Jerry Lawler. The significance of that is Jerry Lawler is in the news. I believe he had another stroke this week.
Yeah, I mean, Jerry has to stop taking Chiller Theater bookings. He has a stroke or some medical emergency every time he takes a Chiller Theater booking. This happened the last time. I know because we had the private scheduled with Jerry directly through Jerry. It was a great deal. The price was right. I was very excited to get all my stuff done. And then poor Jerry had the medical emergency. And it's funny when they re-added him to this, I'm like, should I hit him up and try to set this up? And I'm like, I got enough going on in that weekend. We have enough business to do a big event. I'm like, let's not even think about it. And sure enough, this happened. So first of all, I mean, best wishes, thoughts, prayers, all those nice adages out to Jerry Lawler on a speedy recovery. But I feel like the Marked Out Radio would not really be in our true form if we weren't a little bit ghoulish here. So no, we're not going to take odds on if Jerry dies, but we are going to take odds on if we think Jerry ever makes towns again in a sort of a convention signing kind of way. I am honestly a little bit pessimistic. I've seen how he moves around after the last bout. I don't know if. It depends, I guess, how severe this one was, but I don't know. I think this might be it for Jerry as far as really being a con staple. What do you think?
Listen, there was a stretch when Jerry used to bring himself into New York Comic Con every year and do sketches and whatnot.
That is a regret of mine. How did I never get a sketch?
I got one years and years and years ago. It was like $10, honestly. Give you an idea of how long ago it was. He is someone who was always very joyful at cons, and he loved doing them. He had a great time doing them. I imagine that's why he continued to try to accept bookings even when he's just not doing too hot, health wise. I'm not a person to typically offer thoughts and prayers and stuff like that. I don't believe my thoughts and prayers do anything to help someone's recovery, but it's a sad thing when you see someone who is so vibrant and so lively and so joyful in these environments. All of the guys who we know and admire and are fans of, I should say, are slowing down and getting sick. And we're at that age where it's tough to see. It's tough to see happening. So this is just another instance of that. Obviously, I hope he has a speedy recovery. If he ever gets to a place where he can do cons again safely, I'm sure he will enjoy doing them and have a blast doing them because it was clear he did. If you ever met him, he's always fun and funny during these things. He loves to banter with people and have a good time. And so it's unfortunate that that he's in a rough spot right now.
Yeah, I mean, and we're also looking at like one of the greatest autographs of all time, and his like second version of it since his last medical emergency. It wasn't what it once was, but it was still better than basically anyone else's that's coming up in the game now. And yeah, he is a complete legend. I hope I didn't come across as being kind of like callous by just saying, do we think he's doing any more signings? But I think that's probably on everyone's mind. Like, unless I'm just weird and detached and heartless.
This is Marked Out. This is what we talk about. That's it. I'm not going to sit here and like carry on about someone that, if it's not related to the hobby, we're not talking about it. That's it. This is what related to the hobby, to wonder whether, look, it is interesting. Look, if we really want to dig into it, someone who has strokes, right, that it impacts their ability to use a pen. It changes the way their signature looks. That in and of itself is something that is worth discussing at some point. How there are many people over time and whose autographs have changed as a result of medical conditions. Hell, take a look at Richard Dreyfuss's autograph now. And see what it looks like, and you'll see an example of that. There's many. Look at Carol Spinney toward the end of his life, what his autograph started to look like. These are interesting conversations to have, and I wouldn't fault you for them at all. Granted, I know that we are a little bit ghoulish in that way, but in our single-mindedness. But I mean, that's the topic. I'm not sitting here talking about stick people. I'm sitting here talking about autographs and photo ops. So anyway, we did have another listener question via email. I love getting questions via email. I love it. So you read the question before I did. So what's the question? Let's try and answer it.
Okay. Listener Kurt asked us, did you ever meet someone where afterwards you felt it was a waste of money?
I
I'm
mean,
gonna
this
let
is an
you
easy
go
one for
first.
me.
I'm gonna let you go first because I'm so like just not caring of interaction where it's a little less of a slam dunk for me. I really got to think. So go ahead. I promise I'll be listening and not just obsessing over my own history and you know what I can say. Go on.
I would say almost every time.
Wow.
It's a waste of money almost every time. And then your next question might reasonably be, so why are you doing it? And look, that's a lovely question that I would love to explore. But I feel like almost every time I do it, and I go, I certainly could have used this money better in a different way. And and then I've had my other meltdowns in public. Ian McDermott being an example of that. At New York Comic Con, where I was like, this was a miserable, and then poor Ian McDermott had nothing to do with it. He was delightful. It was just I was like, what am I spending this money on? Nothing. And the more expensive that these autographs get, the easier it is for me to say this was not worth it. I mean, I did not buy, we talked about this last time, I did not buy a Sigourney Weaver autograph. I did pay like $280 whatever dollars with fees for a photo op. Do I feel good about it? No. Will I feel good about it in the 5 seconds after getting the photo op? Maybe, probably. If I ask me 5 minutes after that how I feel about it, I'll probably like, I shouldn't have done it. And I know I'm weird in that regard. I mean, so I actually bought a sick autographed piece as well from a private collector that it's coming in the mail, and I'm not going to talk about it until I get it in my hands. And up until the moment, I swear to you, Dana, I'm not lying. Up until the moment I sent the PayPal, I was like, this is sick. This is so worth it. I'm so excited. The minute I sent the money, I got regret. I felt regret. The minute I did it. But I'm also the kind of person, just for context, back in the summer of '95, which I'm sure for many of our listeners was before they were even born or even a glass of wine. I had my first like summer job where I spent the entire summer saving money for a PlayStation, which of course launched in September of '95. For those people who knew, there was a huge advertising campaign for September of '95, and so I remember I had pre-ordered my PlayStation at PC Richards, and I worked the whole summer. Obviously, you give an idea how little we were paid back then. But I worked the whole summer for the money for the PlayStation and like 2 games and an extra controller. The whole summer, my whole goal was having enough money to buy this. I walk into the store, I buy it. On the way to the car, I regretted buying it. I'm not kidding. I just did. And so
Wow.
this is a thing with me and spending in general. I am definitely someone who regrets spending money. There's terms for that, I know, but especially on this stuff where it's frivolous largely, and also where I've gotten so many awesome things for free, it makes paying for things like annoying. So I know that's like a deeply unsatisfying answer to the question, but it's the truth. Was there ever a meet and greet or an autograph purchase where I thought it was a particular waste of money? I felt really bad about Juliette Lewis after I got the autograph. The photo op was fine after the autograph because I don't know. I was like, I don't want this item after I got it. That was one that sticks out. Oh, a really bad one for me was I forget her name, but Starlight from The Boys.
I don't know. I never watched The Boys, so
Erin
Starlight.
Moriarty.
Oh, Moriarty, yeah, Moriarty.
And I raged about that one after the fact. That was like at NYC Sir during COVID, where she refused to switch pens and she signed the Funko Pops with a dying silver Sharpie. And like I sold all my boys' stuff ages ago, and I still can't get rid of these silver Sharpie signed stuff from her because no one wants it. And I even priced it low. And so, and she sucked. She just was miserable. And so that was in particular, that was one that stuck out to me.
First of all, I'm kind of like struggling and chewing on what you just said. On some level, I feel like you're more normal than I am, in the sense that you maybe see that this stuff is not necessary, but perhaps you're less normal than me in the sense that you still do it despite having such like mixed feelings. I am absolutely insane because I'll be excited when I buy it. I'll be excited waiting for it to come. I'll see it. I'll be excited. I'll put it on a shelf excitedly. I'll go through a pile of stuff and find it a month later and be excited when I see it. That to me sounds more insane, but I mean, in a way, I think it maybe is less insane that I'm spending my money on something that makes me happy. You kind of like don't seem to be in a lot of cases, but
But how does it make you happy when you leave it in piles in a room?
Because I have it, and if I ever want to display it, I can, and I have it, and it's just nice. It makes my collection stronger. If we were ever going to face off in like a Hunger Games style, like photo op game challenge, where like the stronger collection survives, and I could kill someone for having a crappier piece than I have, and I win and move on to the next round. Like, I mean, that's the way. I don't know. It's just, why do you want anything? Because it's fun. Like, I'm sitting here right now talking and doing this show, and right behind my laptop screen are the Genetti Hasbros, and I'm staring at these damn things this entire time, and I'm like, this is so cool. I'm glad I have these. And like that's the feeling I get from most of my stuff, which is probably insane. I get it. Your reaction is probably more sane, but the problem
I don't know, because I also have
keep doing it.
Why do I have the compulsion in the moment? I'm not sure. I wish there was an answer to this, but that's how it goes.
Yeah. But anyway, for my answer, and I was struggling. I was really struggling, and then it hit me what my answer is. And the thing that felt like a waste of money, and I think since I covered this event on the podcast, but I believe time has not made it age well in my mind. And my regret, one of my only regrets that really came to mind in any strong way, was the Sopranos meet and greet at Patchogue with Imperioli, Sharippa, and Pastore.
I was pissed off on your behalf for that one.
Yeah. I really didn't need it. My logic was, okay, I'll get them all in my book. Why not? I'll get them in my book. I love The Sopranos so much. It'll be an entertaining listen, and it's close to home. Why not? So I walk in, and I'm not going to recap it too much because I already covered this on the show, but they announced quickly that they're not signing any autographs. So that sucks. And when the actual meet and greet happened, there was no way they were like taking items from you to hold, wink, wink. And they weren't going to do it. So that sucked. So then I'm like, all right, I'm getting a group photo with people I have already. That's whatever. Then they left the stupid like stage lights on where it looks like we're all like in like some weird outpost of hell with the glowing red light, and it just looks bad. And like the event, like, I mean, I'm not even a fan of these events, but like as someone who loves The Sopranos so much, it was either stuff I knew or stuff I didn't care to know. Fans were asking them questions, some really stupid, some not so stupid, and they were just kind of like rude and dismissive to the like. And I usually roll my eyes at most of these idiots asking questions, but like people that spent $200 something on this ticket, like you could at least fake it, like fake a little, like, oh, good question, like don't like cut people down. It was just weird. It just I left that event feeling bad. I felt dirty. I felt like I wasted my money. And if there was anything I could have done to just press a button and just not have come and gotten my money back, I would have done it. And that is not a feeling I feel often. Like, honestly, any other things I was thinking of were like all superficial, like stupid little things. But this right there, that was probably, without hesitation, the worst decision I ever made in this hobby.
Yeah. I guess the way I look at it is, I was mad for you. I've heard that Sharippa is mostly a jerk, and he is the one who more or less runs these things. But I'm not going to lie, after you told me that story, I did take special joy when I watched The Sopranos again and Tony killed Christopher. So I just want you to know that, truthfully. Yeah, so thanks, Kurt, for your email, and we hope to get more emails every week where we answer listener questions. So if you're shopping for autographs, check out www.markedoutcollectibles.com or our eBay store at Marked Out Collectibles. To contact us for any reason, please email markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com or join the Marked Out autograph collecting community on Facebook. All links are in the show notes on Facebook and Substack. And if you want your event, product, or brand advertised on episodes of Marked Out Radio, reach out to us today at markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com. Please also subscribe. If you like what you're hearing or you don't like what you're hearing, either way, please subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcast, and leave us a rating and or review. We still need some reviews on Spotify and Apple Podcast. You can leave a rating or review on Apple Podcast. You can leave a rating on Spotify, and you can leave a comment, a thumbs up, or a thumbs down on YouTube. I'm going to make the bold suggestion that we punt this topic again.
Yeah, maybe.
So we were going to talk about what constitutes an A-lister in the context of who's worth chasing for an autograph or a photo op. And here's the truth. We're about an hour and a half in. That conversation is going to take us at least a half hour. It really should take more. And so I think we'd be probably better off hunting.
So are you telling me that a listener question yet again was so good that we've kind of tweaked and reformatted the show as a result? I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a very, we're trying to show a little of agility here in our format. And so let's just jump to what's coming next for us. So you have another Mets signing beyond Bobby Valentine. You said that your print was lost in the mail. Did it get jump started or no?
It's back. It came yesterday. It went from Indiana to New York in a blink of an eye. I don't know. It's the weirdness of the USPS at this point. But it is here. I haven't opened it yet, so I'm hoping it's the right one, but it should be. So
I've never brought this up before, but I feel like I have to.
Yeah.
You're one of those people who gets packages and then leaves them for days at a time and doesn't open them. And I can't wrap my head around why that's a thing.
Only thing I open quickly are like when I buy a Hasbro, because I recognize the possibility of like the bubble coming loose in transit. Typically, I'll give the box a good once over. If it looks like it wasn't like submerged in the East River, I'm like, okay, this can wait until I have some time.
But it doesn't take time. You can do it in 15 seconds.
Yeah, but then I don't want to just open it in the foyer and leave it there. I have to bring it into the office. I got to sit it where I want to sit it. And then I got to take pictures, because then that's when I take the picture if it's something signed that I'm going to be posting. And then it becomes a whole thing. I'd rather just delay it.
You do realize all of the things that you just described take a grand total of maybe 2 to 2.5 minutes.
I read a quote yesterday that is not a real quote, but I read it at work and it made me laugh. And I'm going to say it now. Never put off for tomorrow what you can do the day after tomorrow. That's my philosophy.
No, but what it does is it potentially causes issues where you get something and you're not sure if it's right or if it's good or if it was damaged. I don't know. This just seems like creating unnecessary stress. And also, there's sort of a delayed gratification to opening a package. Like when I get a package, I rip it open instantly without hesitation. Otherwise, it's sitting there. It's crazy to me.
But anyway. You don't want to savor the package?
No, because you know why? I'll get another package the next day. There's no savoring. This feels like I feel like Larry David right now. I cannot comprehend the bizarre human condition in front of me. I found out more and more that I feel like Larry David often, and I wonder if that's on me or what.
Just like someone will save the sports page for like their little morning dump. There's no nice way to put it. I'll save a good package. Not for a bathroom visit, but I mean, there's certain points in the day where you're more, like now I can really I can breathe, I can be calm, I can open this package and I can enjoy it to its fullest.
You know what it is? I think there's a very interesting phenomenon. Like the way what you're describing indicates that you feel some level of like stress when performing a basic task like opening a package. And I don't. Like to me, it's, there's a package, let me open it. And that's it. And then move on to the next thing. There's no savoring. There's no serious thinking about it. I just want to make sure it's there, that it's not broken, they didn't ship the wrong thing, that it's not, covered in animal waste in the box or something like that. Lord knows, So I don't know. I just find that pretty funny. And you are not the only person who I've observed do this, which makes it funny to me to ask you about it. because I just don't know why anyone would. And I've never received an answer that I understand. Let's put it like that. So, what else we got? Charlie Sheen, the 19th, the bookends. So we will see you there if you are there. Although we're not going to hang around, it's going to be in and out, hopefully, very quickly. And hopefully
he
they start
hasn't been
on time.
signing, from what I've been reading. He has not really been coming out of events and signing. So I don't think I'm not bringing anything.
Was that something that you were thinking about?
I always think about doing the this top secret entrance. I mean, like on McConaughey, we should have. That was a regret. I should have gotten an Interstellar piece done, but oh well.
I you know what it is on these weekdays. I'm so shot because these things end 8:00, 8:30. I want to be home. I don't want to be still there waiting at 8:30. I mean, I'm get home till after 10.
Especially if you gotta grab dinner.
Right.
Usually, yeah. So yeah.
And it's never on like a Friday. They're always like a third. I mean, Charlie will be on a Friday, but usually these things are on a Thursday or a Tuesday. Like, oh my God, I have to go to work in the morning. So I don't know. And there are people who do it every time they hang out, and they don't care about failing. So whatever. We're doing New York Comic Con, and then right after New York Comic Con is that Reese Witherspoon event, and that'll, I guess. Oh, and then of course the rest of October is Chiller and Chill Out. Did Chiller ever end up announcing any replacements for those canceled guests or not yet?
Not that I saw. Right. I don't know what Chiller's doing right now. It's I kind of thought, I guess I give them too much credit, or any show too much credit, of really like making sort of like reacting and being agile, as you said, as you know, with us in the show format. I think for a lot of this stuff, it's etched in stone, and like I was expecting, like, oh, they're gonna react to Gene Simmons, and I guess in actuality, this lineup was etched in the stone tablet long before he was even a thing. And
well, truthfully, part of the issue is Chiller doesn't book its own guests.
Yeah,
right? So it naturally creates there's less agility because you're relying on agents and managers to book people for you, and it's a little bit trickier.
Yeah, absolutely right. But I'll still be there. I'm not like living and dying by these replacements. It is what it is.
Yeah, of course. We need what we need, and that's it. I was just thinking they'd come up with something by now. And TikTok, the calendar is moving along. That's it for this month.
And next.
Yeah. So once again, if you're shopping for autographs, check us out at www.markedoutcollectibles.com. All our stuff is also on eBay at the store Marked Out Collectibles. We're always accepting emails. We're hoping to get more emails at markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com. Please join and participate in the Marked Out autograph collecting community on Facebook. I mean, it's growing every day. It's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's continuing to be exciting. Like, the community is continuing to grow. So, the only thing we have coming up for our business-wise, we have our private signings at Big Event. We have Swerve and Goldberg. Their metallic prints are available right now. They exist. I mean, honestly, if you are a Swerve fan and you don't buy them, then at least one, that you're not a Swerve fan, really, because these are the best prints on the market for that. That's my opinion. I'm not scripted to say this. I believe it. And I'm not a Swerve fan, really, but not, but I understand some people are, and they're awesome. We have, of course, at our table, please pre-order Jackson Drake, Brad Baylor, Ricky Smokes, Emily J. I want to just say, you were a naysayer. You thought Jackson was going to drop the belt this week. He did not. He came out on top again. It's very clear that not only is Jackson destined for things, they're probably seeing him as someone who is going to be pushed.
Yeah, and I still haven't watched the episode, but I saw the little clip that Jackson shared out, and it seems like Bryce was sort of instrumental in him retaining. So I assume, at least for now, they're maybe walking back that whole like split that they were sort of teasing, with Bryce being like the odd man out. So
well, you know how these splits take a long time to really gestate, right?
Yeah, I still wonder what incarnation of the Vanity Project we are going to see on NXT when that would finally come in a couple of months, presumably. I kind of feel like it's going to likely be the three that we see that we will have at our table. And I'm not just saying that we have them at our table, but they're the three that have been sort of portrayed as vanity project on NXT. Zeta and Bryce have not been on NXT with them. So, I mean, smart money would tell me that that's probably the three that they'll roll with the ones they've already introduced to the CW audience, if and when that moment arises.
We'll see. Yeah, we will see. I think it's still going to be a little bit of a slower integration, only because there's just too many people in these companies. There's too many names, there's too many faces, and they're all being paid, so they all need to be used. So I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what they're doing. I just know that our guys are destined for something big. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week, but I'm as sure of it as I am anything out there.
Yeah.
So I think that's it for us.
Yeah, I think we've touched on everything besides the main topic for the second week in a row. But listen, I mean, it's all teed up for next week, and unless we get another awesome listener question that just takes us off the rails again, I mean, we're ready to go for next week.
The problem is that as things happen and they need to be discussed, that's how it works. So anyway, this is what we have. So for markedout.com, Marked Out Collectibles, and Marked Out Radio, I'm Sean.
And I'm Dana.
And we will see you next week, hopefully to talk about A-listers.